Well, I'm born in Merredin. I was born in Merredin in 1954, so yes, nearly 63 years. I think that you can't get any more local, although from foreign parents, you know, they came out in the 50s, but yeah, I've been here. I was born in 1954. Well, it's a funny one. My old man had the contract to cart wood in the wood line for the pumping stations and pump water to Kalgoorlie, and he applied for a CP block. So my father started farming in 1955, and I was born in 54, and passion grew from there, I think, and I started farming my own in 1979 and started leasing my first farm, and then another farm, and then another farm, and as you know, kept growing and growing, so we run a pretty big outfit now. Well, that's a funny one because primarily I had Case gear, and I always said that once a rotary John Deere came out, I'd be very keen. So in 2000 there was the demos, and we had a local dealer called Carson's of Merredin, and anyway they must have joined a float, and the float didn't work out. We lost our dealership, and I then already started buying John Deere machinery, and I liked them and they performed well for me. And of course I ended up with having a fair bit of John Deere equipment and no dealer. So I put my hand up, and hence that's how John Deere started. Hull Walton really gave me the big tick of approval, and then I did the interview with John Deere, and a guy called John Henchy and Preston Grigg, they gave me the big tick of approval, and I got my first one. Then John Deere asked me to get bigger, so I took on Muck and Burden, and then 3 years later we brought Northam and Cunderdin, and hence Narrabeen reckoned that we were doing so well that maybe we should buy them, so we brought them, and a couple of years ago we brought Quairading after the demise of Farm Power. Well, my staff is our aim. I mean, anybody can own AIM, but in our case it's family owned. It's myself and my wife, and but the most important people in Ag Implements is our staff. And I always drive home the message that if you look after your customers and you get to know your customers, the business will look after itself. So that's the most important thing for me. It's family owned, but more importantly, it's personally owned. So you have a bit of the dealership. So if you really take some ownership of it, my branch managers, or whether it be Graham Pember or my CEO, and even the guys in parts, I mean, if those people look after our clients, that just brings in the customers. It doesn't matter who owns it, but in our case, it's family owned. And it does mean a lot because there's that personal touch, and they ring me, they talk to me on a regular basis. If there's any issues, I take it, I make the decision there and then. I don't have to go through a board or anything. So that's why I think we shine when it comes to our customers and our customer base. Oh, most definitely. You've got to understand that, when you have 100 people in the community, 107 in our case, plus what I have in my farming operation, it's a bit of a vertical integration, and all those people do contribute to the local community, whether it be in forms of schooling and keeping these communities alive in the sporting facilities. And let's face it, the more people we can have out here, it makes everybody's job easier. It doesn't matter whether it's Ag Implements or the local fuel distributor or the bakery. I mean, it's about employment and keeping these country towns alive. Well, I see a great thing in agriculture, but one thing that agriculture is lacking, in my opinion, we've forgotten how to keep training. So we need to encourage every individual or every business, Ag Implements especially, Ag departments, and people, to get people into bush and train them, because we are lacking some youth. There is a few coming back into it, but I'm very fortunate that the guys that work for me in my farming enterprise are all young people. They vary between 24 and 35, and it's just great to have that young, really full of energy people working with me, and they have been for a number of years now. I'm all up for training, and I put a lot of money aside for training, And Ag Implements forte, I think, is we have our own training centres within Narrabeen. We've got one, and it doesn't matter who it is. There's some guys that maybe come from a totally different background than agriculture, but we put a lot of emphasis in training, and I think it's what we do better than most people. I think it's very important that we do that as an industry. Also, we spend a lot of money on our salespeople in training them. We have our own training centre to help our customers, which you're probably aware of. If you're not aware of, I'm pretty sure if you get on your website, you'll see it. We do. Our sales guys do push it when they talk to their customers. They need training or they need a refresher, because you use your machine for 3 months or 2 months or whatever, 6 weeks, whatever, and then you forget about it. So if you need a refresher, that's all available in-house at Ag Implements, and we have people there ready to help at any time. And I think it's very important that we do that as an industry. It doesn't matter if you're John Deere or Case or whatever, but as an industry, I think it's very important we do that. So that's very much what I believe that it works for us anyway.